If you're doing credit repair, or you're trying to repair your own credit, and you have collections account on your credit report, and you have done multiple rounds, and you have been stuck with those collections account, keep coming back verified, debt collectors are not budging, and you're getting frustrated. You have watched all the videos online, and you have followed all the steps that they told you and the promises that they have made, and you believe that you would have gotten it done, and you're frustrated. You don't have to be frustrated anymore. I have put together several books in a series, my collection consumer law credit repair series. I have 3 volumes that I go in extensive detail, laying out the legal argument of why collection should not be in your credit report and how to delete the ones that are there. You can get them at KyroniqueCreditProducts.com. Now, if you don't understand the law and how to navigate debt collectors, you're going to be stuck and you're going to back out just as you have been doing. But you don't have to be stuck. There are several different ways to deal with debt collectors, and you just need to understand them. And that is what I do in these books. You have principles that are in contract law that you can use to defeat debt collectors. You have principles that are in common law and torts that you might not be familiar with that you can use to defeat the debt collector. You have principles in state law that you can use. You have requirements under the FDCPA and Regulation F that you can use to defeat a debt collector. You have principles under UCC, contract law section of UCC, that will find its way in your state laws that you can use to defeat debt collectors. You also have the FCRA and certain requirements that you can use to defeat the debt collector. You have Regulation V, which is the implementing regulation of the furniture aspect of the FCRA that you can use. You have aspects of Truth in Lending Act. You have aspects of Equal Credit Opportunity Act, and many others. So what I'm saying to you, I'm not just trying to wow you with the amount of laws that I might have studied and know. I am just trying to show you that if you are stuck playing the games, there are different avenues that you can go down to deal with the debt collector. Collections account is the kinds of account that has the most ways to be attacked that appears on a credit report. Some other accounts are limited to only a few principles, but collections, you have a lot. And then you have your state laws that you can leverage. So if you're dealing with debt collectors, you don't have to be stuck. You don't have to be stuck. The reason why you're stuck is because you don't really understand what are the things you need to do, and you are just following the common recycled information that is presented online regarding debt collectors. In these 3 volumes, one of them is at a beginner's level, the collection remover packet. That's at a beginner's level to make it kind of easier for you. And Exposing the Collections Game is a more advanced book that lay out the different principles from contract law, FDCPA, FCRA, all of that sort of stuff. Break down to you and show you when an account comes back verified, what are the options that you have and how to go about doing a verification request the right way. Because a lot of times you have individuals online, they speak to you and tell you that, oh, say that the account is verified, right? And once you do the verification request, that verification request, you just ask for verification. You should not be doing verification requests that way. Your verification request should be specific, because there are different ways to verify account. What are you trying to verify? Are you trying to verify the amount of the debt? Are you trying to verify the ownership of the account? Are you trying to contest the legitimacy of the account? All of these kind of things you have to think about when you are doing a verification request. It's not just to request verification. In the credit repair space, you are usually taught, ask for verification now. you should be asking for specific kinds of verification. What I have done in the books is I showed you there are certain landmark studies that exist and certain inside information that exists. But if you don't know case law and you don't understand where to look to find the information, you are not going to know how to leverage it. So what I have done in some of these books, I have gathered together all of that information for you. I have given you documents that most of you have never ever seen or even know that they exist, because that's what I try to do. I don't just come and is writing from the perspective of someone that is just trying to sell you a book. I am laying out legal principles and showing you what you need to understand in order to do justice to the account. And then on page after page, you are seeing how the principle works. So you don't have to be second guessing whether the principle work or not. You have the opportunity to see it at work, because a lot of times when you learn stuff online and then you come back, you are wondering if it does work. The principle here is to understand when you are right, so that you know when you should double down in your dispute with the credit bureau. Because sometimes you will do a dispute, and after you do that dispute, it comes back as verified. And it doesn't mean that you should change the dispute, because it might mean that you are right. You just got to change sometimes the wording, but stick to the same point, or make a few adjustments so that the bureau don't mark it as frivolous or irrelevant because they have already answered it. But once you are right, you double down on it. So this is why you really have to understand how the system works, so that you can leverage it. A lot of you are being stuck dealing with debt buyers, debt collectors, because you don't really understand how the system works. What are the pressure points for debt collectors? Where are the weaknesses for debt collectors? How to exploit those weaknesses, how to uncover those weaknesses. I show you how to do that. How to figure out if the credit bureau is lying or the debt collector is lying. And I show you how to do disputes where you uncover this by asking certain specific things and doing the dispute in a certain way where you this is not magic. I'm not telling you anything about any magic trick or anything like that. I am telling you about how the law ought to work and what you need to do to uncover the game that is being played. So you have 3 books in this series, right? Let me explain 3 of them. The Collection Remover Packet is a more basic book, because a lot of times you come out the gate, people have are at different levels of their understanding. So in that book, it's I keep it very basic, and I also cover how to dispute specific kinds of different account with different issues in that book. Time bar debt, medical debt. There are certain things about medical debt that you need to understand when you are disputing them. So I kind of give you the letters in that to deal with it. And so it's more of an introductory book. Then the Exposing the Collection Game is a more advanced book. That book goes into showing you legally and philosophically how to deal with debt collectors and leveraging different laws, from state laws, tort laws, common law principles, UCC principles that are buried in your state law, because UCC is not itself a federal law. It's a federal guideline that states build their laws after. So once you are going to use the UCC principles, then you are going to have to find your state equivalent and use it in the dispute. I show you how to leverage the FDCP and the FCRA. Now in the book, Delete and Get Paid, I am doing something completely different in that book. In that book, I am showing you how to dispute 4 different kind of accounts. Sometimes these accounts will be collection, sometimes they will be original creditor. But I put this under the collections category because most of the time these accounts, and I also show you certain kind of account that is not showing up on credit report anymore, but now and then they do show up, because I have seen cases and I have given you the cases where they show up, and I have shown you in this the secret with a lot of these accounts that the bureaus have been carrying and kept in for years, and consumers have been violated. I show you how the FTC, the CFPB, OCC, all of these people know this all the time. I show you also how business credit end up on your credit report and what you need to know to get rid of it. Capital One, for example, double reports. They will show it on your business credit profile and on your profile. I show you how to get rid of that. I show you how to deal with lease accounts of all kinds, not just rental lease. I have a book that is specific for rental lease, a letter set per se, but this I go into the philosophical and legal foundation that you need to understand to deal with these kind of account. The 4 category of account that I cover in this, and when I say 4 category, accounts that fall under any one of these 4, I basically show you how you should actually dispute these without requesting any validation, any verification, without focusing on any inaccuracies. None of that. I show you how to use your right to privacy and get rid of these 4 accounts, and then do a whole lot of legal analysis for you, bringing in different laws, Equal Credit Opportunity Act, the CLA, which most of you don't even know what the CLA is. CLA is the Consumer Leasing Act. I bring that in and show you I have gone into case law that goes back over 4 decades and show you what the courts have been saying for decades that the credit bureaus know. I show you documents that the credit bureaus are admitting that they know. I have showed you cases and class actions that you have never heard of that delete these accounts, and show you how to do them. This is how detailed what I've given you in the book. This is not you just coming in and I am just saying, oh, play this game and it will be gone. No, I don't do that. I don't do that in my books. I lay out legal argument and give you case law, and a lot of times expose you to documents that you have never seen. And most of the time, people in the credit repair space have never seen. Some people might be aware of them, but not a lot of people. And some people might have not be aware of them, because I dig deep in my research and I approach this from a scholarly perspective. So as a result, I do more than what the average credit repair book will do or will give you. What you will not find with me is a sparsity of information. You will be oversaturated with information and have all that you need to think about it, and then I give you the letters. So after you read, your mind sometimes takes a while to soak in the information that is in the book, and sometimes because you don't have the amount of information that I have, it's not gonna click right away for you. It's over time rereading the book and getting more information, it will make sense to you. So what I do to overcome that gap, I make sure that all the principles that I lay out in the book, I write the letters for you implementing those principles. All you have to do is modify the letters and then apply the principles automatically. Look on your situation, see what you need to adjust, and once you adjust the letters, you send them off, so you don't have to worry or be fearful. What I also do, because I know from experience that the credit bureaus likes to give you a warm time, sometimes even when you're right. That's just the process of credit repair. They're not gonna give up or just give in. So what I tend to usually do is give you multiple rounds of letters and anticipate for you, because the bureaus and creditors usually respond only in a certain way a lot of times, especially when you have certain specific requests in your dispute. So I give you multiple rounds, so in case they pull a certain move, you know what you need to do. What I am saying here, it doesn't mean that is going to address everything that your unique situation have. What you got to do, the principle will always be the same in getting the deletion. All you do, modify them to suit your specific situation. So you don't have to struggle with debt collectors. And I know that there's a lot of information online that make huge promises, and as a result, you don't see the result for it. So page after page, I show you the legal cases and what you need to know. I show you the debt collectors being beaten and defeated. So you're not questioning whether it works. The only thing that you will question, whether I understand how to leverage it, and you won't have that question because I have written the letters for you to be able to do that. All right, so this is what the 3-volume set has to offer. One of them is a more basic introduction, and I cover accounts in that, like medical accounts, show you certain principles to use when it comes on to statute of limitation, time bar, debt, debt validation, how to do it the right way, because a lot of time individuals are telling you that you should request validation of a debt, and the validation requirement, there's a legal framework to do validation in, and there's certain information that you can ask for under the validation that a lot of time individuals are not asking for. And I lay out the proper validation letter for you that is comprehensive in its scope in that first book, the collection remover package, which, as I said, it's more for intermediary or beginners, and I kind of give you some insight also about the debt collection industry, insight that I develop in a more robust way in exposing the collection game in more detail and with more documentation, because I see that a lot of people sometimes want to learn, but the amount of information and the level of information sometimes can be overwhelming. So that is the starter book, and then you move to exposing the collection game, and then you move to delete and get paid. In delete and get paid, I also show you how to lay the groundwork to get paid for the 4 category of accounts that I show you once you are violated, and the steps that you need to take. So I don't just tell you. That's why it's called delete and get paid, because I add the dimension of kind of just giving you a framework, not legal advice, but a framework in which you can use to get paid, and the steps that you need to take, and give you some sample letters there that is independent of the dispute letters in how to really dispute this, and how to reach out to get your settlement, or whether you want to go small claims court, arbitration, or you want to get an attorney or anything like that. So I kind of lay out that in that book as well for that 4 category of work of accounts. And you will also see how the government works against the consumer interest. I unravel that in that book and kind of show you how OCC and others basically undermine consumers and tilt the FCC in going against consumers. You will see all of that, and you have a treasure trove of documents, FTC documents and other documents that you have probably never seen. All right, so I just want to give you an overview here. Peace.